Hello and welcome to Pantheon of the Geeks, and this is a review of the new codex that came out today, Khorne Daemonkin, and also the data cards which we've come to expect from the codexes that have started to come out. So those are the data cards, so I'll open them up and have a look inside. Ta-da! Blood for the Blood God. So I've had a quick look at some of these. They do look quite interesting. They're all bloody and horrible and nasty. So there we go. That just tells you a bit of a background about them.
Yeah, this is the main role for the army, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fact they can collect these blood tithy points. Blood tithe points.
Tithy.
That's what it says, tithy.
It does, you're right.
I know it says tithe, but
Tithe,
I'm
yeah.
just being funny. So there you go. Anytime a unit with Blood God kills or gets killed, you generate points, and you can spend them on the following.
We've got Infernal Contempt.
And that costs 1 point.
So all friendly units with the Blood for the Blood God special rule have an Adamantium Will special rule until the start of the next turn.
That's 2 points.
Insatiable Bloodlust. Again, as you can see, all friendly units with the Blood for the Blood God special rule have Furious Charge and Rage special rules until the start of the next turn.
Shadow on the camera.
Unstoppable.
I don't think people can see that though. That's 3 points. That one.
Yeah, Unstoppable Ferocity. Again, there's a bit of a theme going through it, the Blood for the Blood God theme. So that one's got Feel No Pain. Apocalyptic Fury. Again, units with the Blood for the Blood God special rule. Add 1 to attacks till the end of the next turn. Demon Tide, which is 5 points. Any unit consisting of either 8 Bloodletters or 5 Flesh Hounds is summoned within 12 inches of any friendly unit with the Blood for the Blood God special rule.
That's probably my favourite overall.
The Demon Tide one.
Yeah, you only got to get 5 points to get it.
Yeah.
And it gives you reinforcements
Yes.
straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, the next one's more powerful, but...
Yeah, the Harbingers of Blood and Brass, which is 6 points. A unit consisting of either 3 Blood Crushers or a Skull Cannon is summoned within 12 inches of any friendly unit with the Blood for the Blood God special rule.
Yeah, that'll be another good one, but that costs 6 blood tithy points.
Yeah.
Blood tithe points, yes, I know.
And Dark Apotheosis.
Yeah.
Which is 7.
And that's basically summon a demon prince.
Yeah.
Or if you fail your leadership test, you
get a spawn.
you get turned into a spawn instead.
Lovely.
But you cost a character to summon that.
Yeah, the character goes away for casualties.
The demon prince does keep all their items and weapons, even if they're not usually allowed to.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Fury Unbound, which is an 8 pointer. Again, sacrificing a character this time to get a greater demon.
Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again,
they keep all the warlord traits of whatever you've got.
Yeah. So that's basically how this army works. You generate blood points and you spend them either to give buffs to the existing units or summon new units if you've got enough blood points.
It works a bit like the Sisters of Battle you were saying to me.
Oh, the faith points that you used to have. It's
kind of thing, yeah.
a similar idea to that. But it's a bit more in depth and a bit more intense, I think.
I think it works probably better looking at it, how it works. Yeah, so I've had a quick read of this, of the Khorne book, and it is actually quite interesting. It's fairly similar to what you read in the Demon Codexes. Bit of a background about Khorne, who he is, what he does. Basically...
Where he goes shopping.
Yeah, where he goes shopping.
His favourite hair boutique.
Primark.
Oh, Primark. Right.
No, just basically his background and, you know, Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Skull Throne and that lot. And just a bit about the Daemonkin, really, which now comprises of your Space Marines, your Berserkers, your Wraith Guards, things like that, Demon Princes, Bloodletters. So everything's all squished into one army now, as opposed to it being demons and then a section, another book for Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
It's all crushed into one army.
2 books of one god crushed into one army with some new funky rules, which is the essence of the entire book.
Yeah.
But you read this. I've not read the first part of this. What was there anything?
Nothing different really from what you already know and have come to expect from Khorne, basically. The path to glory, about how the different stages of Chaos Space Marines kind of thing. They start off as mortals and hope to become demon princes or immortal, you know, give themselves to bloodthirsters and that. This page is a bit like a organisational chart, if you will, for Khorne's army. So it breaks it down. So you've got obviously Khorne at the top, and then his exalted bloodthirsters of the first house, which you would expect probably Angron to be one of them, or, you know, ones that have fallen first away. And then it goes down to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th for the 8 prongs of chaos. And then underneath you've got the little minions, if you will, the little armies.
Or cohorts.
Little cohorts, yeah.
That's actually a formation like in the book.
Yeah, the charnel cohort. And
the slot cult.
Yeah, so that's just like, they try to emulate the organisational structure of Khorne, basically, in their own little cults, if you will. So they'll have a champion who's like the boss, if you will, and then the favoured of Khorne, and probably of the champion of Khorne, and then the anointed who they like, and then they'll look after the chaos cultists and chaos spawn.
Right.
These are just the Bloodsworn hordes, sorry, can't speak. So you've got the Skull Sworn and the Wrath, and they're just both different types of what you can expect from Chaos Space Marines for Khorne. Mm-hmm. And these are some of the Space Marine chapters, if you will, the Chaos Space Marine chapters.
Oh, the war bands.
The little war bands, yeah. The interesting ones on this page that I found was the Harvest and the 8 Guard.
Right. The
Harvest, rather than being all-out attack, they're more defenders. So what they'll do is, say you've got an Orc army and a Tyrannid army coming in, they'll go into the Orc army and obliterate the Orc army and set up a little stronghold that the Orcs have set up, and that's just the first kill. So once you've killed the Orcs, they sit and wait for the real fire, which will be the Tyrannids. So
they kill the defenders first, take their defences, and then use them against the next enemy.
Yeah. Right. So it's like the same if it was like Imperial Guard and someone else was coming in to attack the Imperial Guard.
So they murder the guard.
They murder the guard and then wait for the other attackers, because the attackers still think they're attacking Imperial Guard or Orcs or whatever.
It'll be a bit of a surprise.
It will be, yeah.
Blood-crazed lunatics attack them.
Yeah, and the 8 Guard are basically, they've got 8 battles to prove themselves to the bloodthirster that they worship.
Alright.
And every battle, if they survive the battle then and they've done well, and the bloodthirster thinks they've done well, he'll give them a mark. Yeah. And it actually makes up the mark of this mark here, the mark of Khorne. So if they don't get it, basically they get squished or turned into spawn or given the flick or whatever.
So flick.
Yeah, but if they do really well and they get this 8 mark, then they become exalted champions and move on to better things. Right. So yeah, so those are the 2 that really interested me. This is like a timeline of chaos, Daemonkin and that. So starting off obviously with Horus and then going through to Abaddon coming. Right. Yeah, so there was a few interesting little stories on there that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Can't remember them now. We'll pick them out. But okay. There was a couple that really made me laugh. Abaddon asked the Skull Sworn to follow him, and he sent emissaries to them, and those emissaries returned sans heads.
All right.
And with the mark of Khorne emblazoned on the chests.
That was a no then.
I think that was an emphatic no.
Right.
So yeah, there was a couple of little stories that tickled me in there. Yeah, so that was quite interesting to read. And then we go into the Chaos Lords and Demon Princes and things like that. One thing that is in there is about Angron and the Butcher's Nails, and about the Berserkers being like the the World Eaters. It hints that they were the first berserkers, basically, because of the butcher's nails. So that's it there. So that's quite an interesting read. It just gives like an overview of
the
them,
World Eaters.
of the World Eaters, really, and the the descent into being berserkers. So yeah, I didn't get to read all this lot because I just read about the lore, but I was hoping to read this. This is just...
These are about the individual units.
Yeah, the individual units and the background and things like that.
So much like you get in the Chaos Codex,
yeah.
to be honest. I don't think there's going to be much new there if you've got the Chaos Codex or the Demon Codex, which you don't need for this book because everything is in here. You don't need the other two codexes.
No, one thing I will say is there's no special characters named in here. It's just starts off with your Chaos Lord and...
Yeah, there's no Khorne of Betrayer.
No.
There's no Chaos Space Marine special characters. There's only one special character in the whole book, and that's the Skull Taker.
Yeah.
If you can call him a special character. I suppose he is. He's a herald of Khorne. And he's the only one in it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is bog standard rank and file.
Yeah, these are some colours for the Skull
the ones we
Sworn and
talked
the
about.
Wraith. Yeah, the Wrath even. The Harvest, the Brazen Beasts. I'm sure I read somewhere about them being Space Marines. They were called Brazen something or other and they turned to Chaos.
Alright. And these are the Harvest
Those
ones.
are the Harvest ones, yeah.
Alright, cool.
And then you've got the 8
The
Scarred.
8 Scarred that you were talking
Yeah.
about. Are those the scars that they
Yeah.
call themselves?
Yeah.
So they start with like a line, a little line.
Line.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's quite interesting actually, that it takes 8 battles to prove yourself, and so you get to the 4th battle and you're doing really rubbish, you're going to be worrying, aren't you?
You get turned into a spawner.
Yeah. And then you get some nice pictures, and then you get some heavy metal ones, and these guys were in White Dwarf.
Oh, yeah, they were, weren't they? And then the Lord of Skulls.
It's an awesome model, that.
You get that?
It is, yeah. And you've got your Bloodletter, Chaos Space Marines, Possessed, and Raptor. More nice pictures. And then you get to the forces.
Forces of the Khorne Daemonkin, Kin. Even.
Now you said this is similar to the
Necron
one.
So in the Necron book, first time we had an overall force chart, if you will, designed like this, whereby you have a main detachment, if you will, or formation there. You've got to take that. You don't have to take that. You don't have to take any of this. But if you want the special perks, you do. So you have to take that, and you have to take at least one of these, and you can take up to 8. So obviously you can duplicate choices as well if you want. And then you've got the option of taking additional bloodthirsters. So it's very, if you've seen the video on the Necrons, or you've got the Necron Codex, same thing. Obviously is it Decurion, or how did you say it?
Decurion, yeah.
Decurion, yeah. And then that's how it's made up, and then you get the formation special rules, which will all be individual, and then you'll get the army special rules. So if you take the army like this, special rules that you get
is that when these command benefits come in?
It is.
Yeah.
You got Blood Frenzy, which at the beginning of each of your turns, before deciding whether or not to expend any blood tithe points, you automatically generate 1 additional blood tithe point. So you can see each turn you can generate 1 for doing nothing. So considering that they are basically your main advantage of taking this army, taking this is almost necessary.
You need to
really.
Yeah.
If you may as well just do a Chaos army or a Demon army and just ally them. If you're not going to do this, you may as well just use the other 2 books if you've got them, and just mix them up like you already got. If you don't want to do the blood tithe thing and have these specific detachments, which I'll go into, there is no point in getting this book. If you want them to use them, this is what this book's all about. It's about maximising and improving what we've already got rather than adding anything really new to it. And obviously you'll get you'll get that, and you'll get the formation bonuses as well.
So you've got a Chosen of Khorne there.
Oh yeah, that's the other one.
If this detachment is your primary detachment, you can re-roll the result when rolling on the Warlord traits in the Codex Khorne Daemonkin.
Yeah, so you use the Warlord traits in this book, and you get to re-roll it, basically.
Right.
There's a few interesting ones, shall we say. So, I'll go the formations and the models will be next. We'll go through that now. So there's the war gear list. I don't know if you can get on the camera rather than me reading it all out. So if you've got the Chaos Space Marines book and you've got the Chaos Demons book, there's things that you'll see from both of them. The other things that won't be in there are the Artifacts of Slaughter, which we'll get to near the end, which won't be long. So Chaos Lord, and he's 75 points, which you think, oh wait a minute, the one in the book's 65 points, but that's because he's already been given the Mark of Chaos for Khorne. They all have, basically, they start with it. So the points have been adjusted to represent that. I had a quick look at the Chaos Lord from Space Marine book. The only thing I can see is missing is Veteran of the Long Night, special rule, optional, 5 points. Everything else is exactly the same. And you've got the Terminator upgrades there as opposed to being in the War Gear section. The only difference in the rules are they've got the Blood for the Blood God rule, which, just as we've explained, that just means that they count for either killing or being killed to generate the Blood Tithe points. And Skulls for the Skull Throne, I think that just means, we'll get to that, but I think when I read it, that means they've got to accept a challenge or make a challenge. So that's it basically, which is very similar to the existing rule. I don't know what it was called now. And the Demon Prince, same again, it's the same rules. You've got 2 options to take with them, which is Warpforged Armour and Demonic Flight. If you generate one of these via the Blood Tithe points, comes with Warpforged Armour. And if the model's got wings on it, comes with wings as well, so that's potentially 60 points free. As well as having the 160 points free. Plus, whatever weapons you gave the guy you've used as your sacrificial lamb in the first place. And then you've got the Herald, the Demon Herald. It's a nice model, that. Pretty cool. I don't think we've got that model. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the Blood Throne.
Yeah.
Which is the dual model.
With the cannon as well.
With the cannon, which you've got one today.
I have, yeah.
It's not been built yet.
No.
But again, these are just like in the Demon book, so there's no point really going into them. Got the Skull Taker, the only named character in the whole book. There he is. I've got him all upstairs somewhere.
Cool.
I have to root him out and dedicate him to Claire. So I've got this old metal model I've got.
Looking at the rules, the special rules, they all seem to have this Blood for the Blood Gods.
Yeah, they've all seemed to have upgraded with it. So everything in this book will have it.
Yeah.
So it's only if you're taking allies that you're going to have something which doesn't have it. And to be fair, I don't know really why you would take allies with this. The allies matrix thinks at the end, or I think I must have skipped it. I'll find it again. But they can only take a couple of allies. And that's only in dire circumstances. You can obviously take other chaos, but again, you have enough units that can kill or be killed and generate blood type points, so why would you?
Yeah.
The whole army's about generating these things and giving yourself buffs. A lot of people might want to summon bloodthirsters. I mean, it's going to cost a lot of points to do that. And you might get to the point in the game where your characters get killed, or the sacrificial ones get killed, and it might not be worth doing that. It might just be worth using the lower level buffs. And
supporting yourself on them.
Got to support yourself on that, especially with some of the later formation add-ons. So again, the demons from
White Dwarf.
Chaos Cultists. There we go. Very cool. Crimson Slaughter, basically.
Yeah.
The ones from... I've always liked that model. He's so cool.
He is a cool model.
Yeah, I've still not painted mine. He's probably going to get done in Iron Warriors colours when I do it.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
You got...
Yeah, and there again, you got the same thing. Space Marines, that's a unit of 10, not 5. That's the only difference. That's why their points is a lot higher. It's a full unit of 10 Space Marines, not just the 5 in the other book. And the Berserkers, same thing. That's another unit, a full unit of 10. So there's no addition, there's no thing to take, just 5 Berserkers. And you can add up to 12 Berserkers onto that, and you can replace their axes. I think the only thing you can't take, which is in the Codex, are mutations. I think that's the only thing that I noticed that some of them can take is mutations, and there's no mutations in this that I saw. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. So I just had a brief look at the rules for this. Blood letters, there we go, 80 points. Possessed. If you're going to do this, if you're going to follow the book, you're going to need a unit of possessed, end of, because they are a 1 to 4 choice in the slaughter cult. And they're not the best for the points, and a lot of people don't like them because of that, because it's about points management in a way of the game. But I love the models for the possessed. I think there's a lot of variety in there, and I've always liked them since we released them. So I have no problem with taking a unit of possessed. Personally, we've got some upstairs, so it's not even going to be an issue for us. A lot of people, that's putting them off. I know that. It does seem like Games Workshop want you to take miniatures that might not sell quite as well. Based on the rules, but I think these are probably the worst priced unit in the book. They're a bit expensive for what they do, but so you only need to take 5 of them.
Looks like you can have mutations on those guys. So.
These guys have got a different mutation each turn. I think is that how it works. Beginning of each fight, you roll for them for different mutations. But yeah, so I don't think it's a massive sacrifice to take these guys, based on all the other benefits you're getting from it. So again, if you're going to use this book, you're going to need to use them. End of. So if you don't want to use them, don't buy the book. It's that simple. Chaos Terminators. And they're again exactly the same with the Khorne marks. That's why the price slightly differently. But when you work it out, they're exactly the same price. Bug Crushers. You got some of them today as well.
I did, yeah.
I've always liked Juggernauts, they're awesome models. Chaos Spawns, there we go again, only different because Mark of Khorne. That's a cool looking chaos.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've not seen one like that before.
You've not seen that one?
No, I haven't.
I don't think I built one like that. I've got 10 spawn upstairs that I got years ago.
Yeah.
When they did a box set of 10 guys and 10 spawn.
Yeah.
And you basically all of them get turned into spawn. It was for Apocalypse, and there was a good discount on it.
Yeah.
So I got them together. So I've got 10 spawn. I'll paint it slightly different, but I don't think I used that head.
Right.
I'll have to think I might have a look. It's been a while. Chaos Rhino.
Yeah.
Well, it's a rhino. I can't really say much more about it. It's a rhino. It's one of my favourite vehicles, actually, rhino. I just love the boxiness of it.
Yeah.
I've always have. Bikers, Chaos Bikers, and Flesh Hounds. There they are. Raptors and Warp Talons. Forge Fiends and Mauler Fiends. Defilers and Soul Grinders. Hellbruts.
The new fragrance.
Yeah, Hellbrut. Skull Cannon. Lord of Skulls. And here is the Slaughter Cult. So this is their first formation. Okie dokie. So the formation consists of 1 HQ, which is a Chaos Lord, or a Demon Prince, or a Herald, or the Blood Throne, or a Bloodthirster of Infected Fury, or a Skull Taker. One of them. And then you've got to take 2 to 8 units of Space Marines, Berserkers, or Bloodletters. The 1 unit of Possessed. You can have up to 4 if you want. If you like the models, go for it, mate. Seriously. I mean, they're very cool models. I'd love to see a whole massive bunch of Possessed together. That'd be cool. And Cultists and Spawn are optional. There's no restrictions. But the bonus you'll get for taking this, even on its own without taking the full thing, the full detachment, if you will, is Chosen of Khorne, which allows you to reroll primary anyway, just like you could in the other one. Blood Sacrifice. If a unit of Chaos Cultists from this formation fails a morale test, you can just murder them. And the advantage to that is obviously you generate a blood point. So if they get massacred and there's like a couple of guys left and they're in the way and you just think, what a waste, you can just make Khorne sacrifice them and generate a blood point for yourself.
Cool.
A Boon of Khorne. Each time you expend 1 or more blood tithe points, a second result from the blood table can also be chosen. It's got to be a lower value than the one that you pick, and it can't be higher than 4. So if you spend 5 points, you can also spend 4 points for free. But that's the maximum you can do. So again, that's why I think 5 points will be a good trade-off point.
Yeah.
Because you're summoning more models. And that was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, you're summoning more models, and you're obviously getting a free 4-pointer as well.
Excellent.
So I think that would be the trade-off point if I was playing the army. I'd try and hit 5 points as often as possible. And I said there's ways to maximise it by using the big formation. You get a 3 point each turn, killing as much as you can, wasting cultists if you like. It's another way to generate them. And there's also at least one artifact. I think there's only one, but we'll get to that in a bit. So the Brazen Onslaught, that's the next formation. That's 1 to 4 units of Terminators and 2 to 4 units of Blood Crushers. Khorne's Chosen Slaughterers. At the start of each fight subphase, check to see if any units from this formation are involved in a combat that contains more enemy models than friendly models. And you count all models that are locked in, engaged, not just those that are actually base to base. If a unit from this formation is outnumbered, all models add +1 to their attacks until the end of the phase. So with them, you just want to charge them into massive enemy units and just get the extra attacks. Khorne's Bloodstorm consists of 2 to 4 units of Raptors, 1 to 4 units of Warp Talons, and 0 to 1 Helldrake. So if you're going to use the formations, which you kind of have to with this book, you're probably looking at getting 1 Helldrake.
Yeah.
For all the the multiple Helldrake armies, it's not going to happen. But they do get the Fury of Khorne upgrade, which means that all units from this formation add +1 to the strength for any Hammer of Wrath or Vector Strike attacks. So there's a slight improvement there for them. So that you're not going to see massive armies of these guys flying around the board like we've seen so many times. The Gore Pack. The Gore Pack is 2 to 4 units of Bikers. I like this idea with the Gore Pack. I'm just not sure how effective it's going to be. And 1 to 4 units of Flesh Hounds. There's no restrictions. They get moved through cover. Preferred enemy Psychers. So you basically, if you want to hunt down enemy Psychers, these are the guys to do it. And you've got the run them to the ground rule, which Flesh Hounds in this formation have the Hammer of Wrath special rule. Chaos Bikers in this formation have the Shred special rule when resolving Hammer of Wrath attacks.
Cool.
So these are your hunters, basically. And I like the idea behind these guys. I'd like to see how effective they actually are in combat. And then we've got the Charnel
Cohort.
No, Carnal would be Slaanesh. Charnel Cohort. That consists of 1 HQ from a Demon Prince, a Herald, a Bloodthrone, or a Skull Taker. Obviously, if you use the Skull Taker, you can't use him twice. And 2 to 8 units of Bloodletters, 1 to 4 units of Flesh Hounds, 1 to 4 units of Blood Crushers, and 0 to 4 optional Skull Cannons. Obviously, these are all demons. They will gain the counter attack rule, the Chosen of Khorne rule, and the Lord of the Blood Host rule, which is if this formation's HQ is in Deep Strike, you can choose to reroll reserve rolls for that unit. Other units in this formation arriving from Deep Strike do not scatter, as long as the first model places 6 inches of the formation's HQ unit, even if they arrive from Deep Strike Reserve during the same turn. So as long as you put your HQ down first, everything else can just appear around it. Then you got the Blood Host Unleashed, which enemy units have a -2 penalty to their leadership characteristic when taking fear tests caused by this formation. So scare the bejesus out of your enemies. And that's it basically. So those are the formations. If you take the main one, you get these rules plus the overall rules. So again, if you're going to use this codex, that's really the way to use it. And the appendix. So as I said before, the levels of Alliance are there. The Battle Brothers with other Chaos Demons and Chaos Space Marines, which is to be expected. Eyes of Convenience with Necrons. A bit strange, since Necrons and Demons. Don't really get that. And Orcs, yeah. Desperate Eyes with Dark Elder. Yeah. Terror Empire, okay. You say so. Come the Apocalypse Armies of the Imperium Elder Harlequins and Tyranids. The Blood for the Blood God rule is repeated there. Demon of Khorne rule, which basically means demons have furious charge and hatred against demons of Slaanesh. And chariots with this rule resolve Hammer of Wrath hits at strength 7. Okay. Mark of Khorne is basically giving them rage and counter attack. And skulls for the Skull Throne. I think I quickly said that before. I'll just try and zoom in on them as well. Model with the Skulls for the Skull Throne special rule must always issue and accept a challenge whenever possible. If you have several models of this special rule in combat, you can select which model issues or accepts the challenge. Warlord traits. Here we go. So 1 is a basically icon of war. Your warlord and all friendly units within the Blood for the Blood God special within 12 inches can reroll failed charges. 2 is the Disciple of Khorne. Your warlord has a Zealot special rule. 3 is Arch Slaughterer. Add 1 to your warlord's attack characteristic. Not bad. 3's alright. 4, Favourite of Khorne. Your warlord generates 1 additional blood tithe point each time he slays an enemy character in a challenge.
That's quite a good one.
Yeah, if you're going up a lot of characters against them and you want to get them in to do the challenges, yeah, you're going to generate a few extra points. I think I'd take the extra attack over that, but that's pretty cool though. It's a way to increase your blood tithe points subtly. Butcher King, your warlord has a preferred enemy special rule. And Destined for Galore, which means if you're resolving Dark Apotheosis or Fury Unbound, which are the top 2 of the, which are there again, repeated, from the cards we showed you at the beginning, they'll automatically pass the leadership test. So no spawn or just being killed outright, you're definitely going to get him to be turned into one or the other.
Yeah.
So if your objective in this is to summon a Bloodthirster from a character with weapons he might not be allowed to have normally,
Yeah.
you're going to hope for a 6 on the Warlord traits chart as
Yeah.
well to make that a definite. And that's just a blood tithe table. Tools of Butchery, it's just the rules for everything that's probably in the other 2 books. I don't think there's anything extra in here. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's everything that we've seen before. Melee weapons, special issue war gear, icons of Khorne, gifts of Khorne. There's the gifts of Khorne. Get them on the book. And armour rules, loci of Khorne, and there's the vehicle equipment. And these are the artifacts of slaughter, which are again unique to this book. There's the Gore Drinker, which is an axe, the shocker, +1 strength, AP2, melee, Blood Feast, and unwieldy. And Blood Feast being keep account of all unsaved wounds caused by the bearer's melee attacks. At the start of each of your turns, consult the table below to see what effects the Gore Drinker will have on its bearer. So no rolling, this is just what happens. 0 has no effect, 1 to 2 adds a strength point, 3 to 4 gives them the rampage point, and these are cumulative as well, so that strength will stay with him for the rest of the battle. Then he gains the rampage at 3 to 4, it doubles his strength at 5 to 7, and at 8 or more he gains the instant death special rule. Quite a nasty axe.
That is a nasty axe.
Yeah, because if that's the kind of guy you want to send in against a lull hitting unit like Grots,
Yeah.
and just slaughter 8 Grots in one go, and then you're at full power. And then you just tend to make heavier units then. Blood Forged Armour, which is the 3+ armour save, Eternal Warrior, and Feel No Pain. The Brazen Rune, which is basically the bearer of the Brazen Rune has Adamantium Will. Furthermore, once per game at the start of your opponent's psychic phase, you can declare that the bearer is unleashing the power bound within the Brazen Rune. For the rest of that phase, any enemy psychic within 24 inches of the bearer that attempts to manifest a psychic power and rolls a double will suffer perils of the warp. At the end of the phase, in which the Brazen Rune power was unleashed, the bearer loses the Adamantium Will. So it works until you break it, basically. And on the turn you break it, you can make Psyker's heads explode, hopefully. The Blade of Endless Bloodshed. This is the one that will increase your blood tithy points. At the end of any assault phase in which the bearer has inflicted one or more casualties, you generate an extra point. So that's quite useful for generating more points. So I would say one of you guys should have this. Again, you're going to be sending most of your army into assault, so it's hard to say who's best to give that to, but obviously someone who's at least going to cause 1 casualty per turn in combat. Pretty much guaranteed. It's an AP3 weapon, other than that. So it's not fantastic, but it does cut through power armour. The Skull Helm of Khorne. The bearer of the Skull Helm has the Fear special rule. In addition, every time the bearer of the Skull Helm rolls a 6 to hit in combat, he can immediately make another attack at the same initiative step. However, these bonus attacks do not confer additional attacks. So it just gives you extra attacks basically for every hit of a 6. Okay. And then Quallath, the Axe of Ruin. Okay, so that's a AP2 weapon. Melee has the Caged Fury, Decapitating Blow, and Specialist Weapon rules. The Caged Fury, if the Axe of Ruin is reduced to 0, sorry, if the bearer of the Axe of Ruin is reduced to 0 wounds, or otherwise is removed as a casualty, a Bloodthirster from Fetid Fury is summoned within 6 inches of that character before he's removed as a casualty. At the end of each of the controlling player's remaining turns, the Bloodthirster automatically loses D3 wounds and they can't be saved. So you generate a temporary Bloodthirster basically, which will last for a few turns, depending on how you roll on the wounds. And Decapitating Blow, which is the Axe's only other rule, just gives the instant death special rule if you roll a 6 to wound. So, again, you can generate Bloodthirst from that, but it's not.
It's not going to last.
It's not gonna last
is it?
very
long. No.
So my recommendations, personally, I like this axe, the Gore Drinker, and I like this axe, the Blade of Endless Bloodshed. Those would be my 2 first picks, followed by the Bloodforged Armour. You
just like axes, though.
I like axes.
And my axe.
And my axe! So, yeah, those would be my picks, personally.
Yeah.
And that's it, that's the book, basically.
Yeah.
It's got tactical objectives, which are on the cards from the beginning. And there we go.
Yeah.
So, overall, I think it's a good book. I think it's a very good way to combine the 2 armies, other than just using allies.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to use the book, even though it does make you take Possessed and take certain structure. But I like the way it's done that. I like the way the Necron book did that. Personally, I prefer it.
I think he's tried to give them a bit more of an army role, to be quite honest. So it gives them a bit, rather than just being a few here and a few there, it gives them purpose.
Yeah. From a collector's perspective, I like the idea of being able to collect formations and then collect a bigger army from it. I like that. I like the fact that gives you bonuses.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably what you've got to take away from the codex, is that if you do take Daemonkin, you get bonuses and buffs, and that's basically what the army is.
Yeah.
It's a bonus and buff army.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's very good for what it does, and I hope they do the other 3 gods. I'm really hoping to do the other 3 gods.
They should do, because it's a good way of putting Chaos Space Marines and Demons in one book. I mean, I know those 2 books are still there, and you've got all the Chaos Gods in there.
Yeah.
But it's if you want to just choose Nurgle or Slanesh
if
or
you want more,
Tzeentch, if you just want that particular
if
one
you want more
army.
freedom, then these are the books for you.
Yeah.
One or other of these books or both together. That's what you want to do. If you 2 take the Khorne Daemonkin, just remember you're going to be told what you're going to be taking, in other words.
Yeah, you won't get a chance to say, well,
there's a lot less options.
Yeah.
But you get big bonuses for it, so...
But if you don't like making your own armies up and you just want to be told what to take and what's good to take, then that's the book for you. If you want someone to write it down and say, this is what you do.
If you don't want to spend ages trawling through and deciding why you want to take things or what you think is best.
Yeah, the armies in that are really good.
So it's all down to personal preference, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we will see the other gods books.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see the Traitor Legions books as well, like the Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
That would be my...
The Iron Warrior one.
Yeah. Because obviously they do Tzeentch, they'll do the 1,000... It'll be like having 1,000 Suns army.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with that. And if they do Nurgle, it's like do the Death God army. Quite happy with that. And if they do a Slanesh book, you'll like doing the Emperor's Children army. So you'll be quite happy with that.
I'll be quite happy with that. I mean, quite happy with this because this is like World Eaters for me.
So hopefully they'll do Iron Warriors and Night Lords and everyone else's chapters as well. That would be the best.
They should do.
But there's no rumours of that at the moment, so That's just a hope, a fallen hope in the distance, along with Sisters of Battle. So
rub salt in the wounds, why don't you?
wherever the rumours for they have gone, I don't know. So at the moment, we are currently doing Warhammer projects. You're doing demons.
I'm doing demons.
So it does tie into this.
Yes.
And so
I got the Demon Tide today, didn't I? Is it Demon Tide?
yes,
the
Demon
box
Tide
set?
box set, because you wanted it. And there's a 20 quid saving, but it's 21.50.
It was, yeah, it was 80 quid.
Yeah. So
we should come to 100 and...
go take savings where we can get them.
Exactly, yeah. I got it sold to me in the shop by some lads that were in there playing Warhammer, basically. Oh, it's a really good army, that. You can do this, you can do that with it. And I'm like, you sold it to me, that's it.
Normally I have to do that, so I just sat back quite well. It's brilliant. So you're going to be probably painting that next.
Yes, I will be.
I'm working on dwarves. If you've watched any of the previous videos, you know I'm still working on dwarves.
You got your cannons today.
I got some dwarf cannons today via mail order, because for some reason when I went to order them a few weeks back, they disappeared off the store. But they're back. So that's great. And I've got 3 of them. Yay! 3 dwarf cannons. One will become an organ gun. So that's brilliant.
Cool.
Other things we're doing, obviously there's Don't Starve videos. If you like Don't Starve, please watch them, because we've really enjoyed making them.
We have.
And there's the City Skylines that we're doing, so if you like city builders, like SimCity, take a look at Skylines. We really like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's I think it's better than the last SimCity that's come out.
Much better.
And other than that, next week it's a mech that's coming out, so it's not really an army we're looking at getting.
Until I started telling you about Nurgle.
Yeah, so I had this idea of having a dark mechanical which would sort of like become Nurgle-y, and then rusty armour with green cloaks, and then Claire went, well, why didn't you biohazard symbol on? And I went, whoa, that's a brilliant idea, rather than the mechanical symbol, do a biohazard symbol. So I've got this going through my head now of how I can convert them to look more Nurgle-y.
So from us seeing them at first going, nah, I don't like them, nah, I don't really like them that much, I can't see me getting an army of them at all, I don't like the walkers, to me just blurting out, why don't you stick the biohazard symbol on them, to you going, whoa!
I've seen a lot more potential for them. I don't dislike the models, I'm not like, way, they're brilliant, I'm more like, yeah, they're alright. That's my thing, yeah, they're alright. And I like the Rangers, I like the hoods on the Rangers, because they look like the tech priests, and they look cool. And I like the weapons, the archaic looking weapons that they've got, look fantastic. It's just something about the models I don't like, and I don't really like the walkers. My personal opinion.
They do look like chicken.
Like chicken legs. Even the guys are like they've got chicken legs.
Yeah.
To me. I think that might be what it is.
I said the front of them look like Short Circuit, for those of you out there that might remember Short Circuit.
Yeah, and then but unfortunately there's a guy in a gimp suit behind it.
Yeah, that looks in a really awkward position.
Yeah. If you've ever seen an episode of South Park where they have a mono-wheel bike, it's that kind of position. And if you've seen that episode of South Park, you'll know what they were doing in that position. So I'm not going to go further into that. Just watch the episode of South Park, and that's the same position the guy's in, which kind of puts me off. Although saying that, the lance on the thing looks amazing, and the Giselle going on there, because that looks amazing as well. I like that. So I'm even looking at ways I can convert that into sort of a demon.
I did say to remove that guy and put a demon in there that would probably look better than a
demon engine. So dark mechanical, maybe we'll find out. It's an option. I've got a lot of red armies. That's the main reason for not painting them red. But they look great in red. The Rangers. I like the look of the Rangers. So it's all down to personal taste. So we may get some next week. We may not. It all depends. If not, there'll be other videos up for other things that we're doing. So please watch them. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And take care, guys. And we shall see you soon, hopefully.
Alright.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye.